We got Cynthia Calvillo back here on the program. It's going to be taking on Cortney Casey at UFC on ESPN on February 17th. Cynthia, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing great. It's actually my rest day because we're getting used to training on Sundays. Normally, I rest on Sundays, but since this card's going to be on a Sunday, we changed it up a little bit.
Yeah, I just talked to Courtney today actually as well, and she's doing the same thing. Is this the first time you've ever fought on a Sunday?
Yes, it's the first time I ever fought. Actually, no, I lied. When I was an amateur, I fought on a Sunday, and that was like years ago, like 6 years ago.
Okay, so when you find out the fight is on a Sunday, are you immediately changing the training schedule just to make everything line up appropriately?
No, I just want to get my body used to it. We didn't really change most of the camp. It wasn't like that. It was probably recently, maybe this last week or so, just so I can get my body used to. Because like normally, it's always been that way. My Sundays are my rest days, so just getting used to the body moving around on day instead of resting, which is fine with me. I pushed really hard this week, so it's nice to have a day off today.
What does rest day look like? Some people like doing the cryo. Some people like sitting on the couch watching TV. What would I find you doing?
I'm gonna go to Asha Bathhouse, which is like a place where they have a sauna, a steam room, a hot tub, and a cold plunge. So it's really nice. I'll just try to be relaxed there today, do some sauna, spa, and get the ice bath a little bit, just so I can feel good tomorrow.
Yeah, where I live in Vancouver, there's like a Scandinavian spot. It sounds pretty similar where you have like the hot and cold. You can go in like the cold pool, go in the hot, but it's like very relaxing. There's even like a place you can go and nap, which is awesome. So I'm sure it's something similar, right?
Something like that. They have some lounging chairs. That'd be nice if they had an area where I can go take a nap.
Yeah, exactly. That's key. We got to talk about your last fight, though. What a performance that was! First round submission. Could that fight have gone any better in your opinion? Because you don't get paid by the hour.
Well, it's always good to be able to go out there and get the job done in the first round and not come out with a scratch on you. So that's always great. It was a long camp for me, especially with the sitting out for a very long time and coming over a year later, or I think it was close, yeah, about a year, almost close to a year. So it was great. It was great to be able to train and go out there. I had my mishap with the weight cut, so that kind of brings it down a little bit. I want to hurry up and like get the next fight, make the weight, and get the fight done. So because people always remember your last fight. I mean, they say that that it doesn't matter. Like if as long as you win your fight, people forget you missed weight, but I don't forget.
Yeah. What was the issue? Why did you have trouble making weight for that fight?
Um, Honestly, I think my body just changed, went through a lot of changes having that break from not fighting so long. As a female athlete, sometimes you just don't get your menstrual period, which that means you won't retain water, and you won't have to deal with all the hormones and craziness probably like throughout. So I was kind of was like that. And then once I had the long layoff, I kind of went through a regular cycle again. And it happened to be that it it is something I needed to do with this fight camp. And well, last fight camp and this fight camp too, because it's gonna be around the same time. But I never experienced something like that. And you actually do retain water, and sometimes I get weird about talking about it because nobody wants to really talk about that kind of stuff. But it's
Yeah.
a
No,
real
I
thing, and
understand. Yeah.
I've never experienced it before. So like in a fight camp, and so in a fight week, so it was really hard for me to deal with. I think it was just the technique that we used for the weight cut. So we're just gonna switch some things up this fight camp for this fight week. Hopefully,
I was going to ask you about that because, like, obviously, fans, the first thing they see is someone misses weight. They don't know sort of the story behind it. Like, that must have been so annoying because it's like you want to tell people, it's like, hey, this is the reason, but obviously, not a lot of people would understand that if that makes sense.
yeah, no, for sure. And it's not me so much trying to. I'm not trying to make excuses for why. Like people are like, oh, you were undisciplined. You're responsible. You were you miss weight. That means you miss weight. Because you messed up 3 months out. But it wasn't that. That wasn't the case. It was just something we've never dealt with before as a task, and unfortunately, we came up short. So it's something we're actually going to get a chance to deal with again this fight week because it ended up the same day of the month as my last fight. So it's it's a challenge. We understand the errors that were made or what we can do to clean it up. So it is something. It is a real thing, and so it's just something I never experienced before. Other girl fighters were like, I've dealt with it before, blah, blah. Yeah, but I did it, and I didn't really know what it meant to like really retain that much water. And it's crazy. Your body does retain about 5 pounds of water. That means an extra 5 pounds I got to cut that fight week because I'm holding on to it. So it's definitely it's a weird subject to talk about. People don't really like to talk about it, but it's a real thing. So.
Yeah, and one of the other things about that fight was you were the underdog heading in there on the betting lines. Did you have anyone that won any money on your fight, being the underdog?
I think a couple people for sure definitely, won a ton of money when I came in as an underdog. I was a bigger underdog even after the weigh-ins because it looked like I was just going to collapse on the scale. So, it was a good day to place a bet, that's for sure.
Did you have anyone message you? Because the rule is if they win money on you, they got to take you out for dinner.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I always get weird messages like that, but I just never really think about it because I don't like to, this person. I think one of the first times I ever fought, they're like, oh, I bet like, all my money on you. I hope you win so I can feed my kids. Like, I was like,
Oh,
why do you do
jeez.
something like that? Like,
That's terrible.
so I just don't pay attention. I was like, I don't want to be the reason you lose money or win money. I mean, of course, I'm going to go in there and try my best and stuff like that. But yeah, I try not. I've never been much.
Right. Let's talk about your opponent coming up here, Cortney Casey. How do you feel like you match up against her?
I think it's going to be a really tough fight. I mean, she's one of the veterans of the division. She's really tough. She's fought the who's who's, and she's lost most of her fights by decision. And she's tough. She's not an easy person to finish, and she can definitely steal that decision. I'm not sure how much of her finishing rate and stuff, but she's super tough, and I know I'm gonna get the best Cortney Casey. I know a lot of the times she had short like last minute short fight camps, and this time she's got a full fight camp, so I'm expecting the best Cortney Casey out there. She's down to fight. I know she's down to fight anybody and whoever, whenever. That's just her style, and I like that a lot, because it's the same as me. I think she is pretty big for the division, but it's not the first time I fought somebody big in the division. I mean, I fought Montana Stewart, who's a flyweight. I fought Pearl Gonzalez, who is a flyweight now. I fought Joanne Calderwood, who is a flyweight now. And I fought Poliana, who said she's going to go up to flyweight after this last fight that I just had with her. And then, Cortney Casey, doesn't. So, it's not something new for me to deal with somebody who's going to be bigger than me. I do think she's going to be somebody with a better ground game that I've ever faced before. She is a brown belt. She likes to go for submissions as soon as it hits the ground, same as me. So I feel like it's going to be a really good, just high-paced fight. She always brings it. She always has good, exciting fights.
Now, I have the benefit, because I talked to her this afternoon and I was asking her about the matchup, and she doesn't think that you're going to want to stand and trade with her. How do you respond to that? She says that you're going to want to take her down.
Well, I mean, I think that because everybody just sees that I take everybody down. Hey, come here. I think he just wants to be a part of it. That's
of course, as anyone would.
It's hi.
What's his name?
His name's Oso, which means bear in Spanish. Osito. Well, I think, Cortney Casey probably, and pretty much everybody that I'm going to fight, there is no match for me when it comes to the ground. When it comes to groundwork, I always usually more the successful one than my opponents when it comes to scrambling. So the stand up, of course, looks a lot closer, and I've always just taken it. So I'm taking everybody down, and so I think she assumes that. I mean, I know she hits hard, but that's not gonna veer me off from taking. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to win, and I've been working extensively on my stand up, and she might get a nice surprise and might catch one of my heavy right hands to drop her down. So the only time it might hit the ground is if she falls down from my punches. But honestly, I don't care that she assumes that. She probably does, but I don't take her lightly at all, and I hope she's not taking me lightly either.
We talked about the weight cut before. What are you doing, if anything, different for this cut this time around ahead of this matchup?
Well, this fight camp, like I said, we're just gonna. We feel like the last fight camp we kind of prepared for it. I actually was lighter going into the week than I ever been in any of my fights as a strawweight, but we still ran into that problem. I do think that there were some errors made on the day of the night before and the day of the weight cut. So we're gonna clean that up. But what we also did this time is a new company that I'm working with, Fresh Prep. They've been providing all the meals for me. So, and working with the sports nutritionist, and then also went back to continuing to work with Clint from the Performance Institute. I've worked with them previously before. I just switched it up after my Carla fight, and I worked with Lockhart for this fight because I knew it was going to have to do with the woman problems, but it just didn't work out. There's some errors. So this time we're just, adding a new meal prep company so that way I don't have to worry about, running around and not eating at the right time. And so we've gone taken extra steps just to make sure that we can deal with this better this time around.
And what about training camp? Who have been some of your main training partners for that are helping you get ready for this fight?
Well, I've kept my same training partners that I've had, at Team Alpha Male, which Josiah McCall he's been one of my he's a professional there at the team, and man, he's been my main training partner for about 5 years. He's going to come in with me, but of course Justin Buckles, he's still my head coach. We work probably. Man, that guy just works just as tough as I am and as hard as I do. So, and he doesn't have, of course, he's not a part of the gym right now, and he's not really working with a lot of the other fighters right now, any other fighters. So, all of his time and energy goes into me. So I feel like a little bit selfish about it, but I'm also very, very grateful because he's a freaking genius. He's a mastermind. We've done a lot of these last two fight camps. We've done a lot of elevation training here in Lake Tahoe. So we go up to about 9,000 feet of elevation. He's on me about making sure my weight. He does the track for me. He holds mitts for me. He like oversees. So it's kind of like, you better be doing this. So it's really cool to be able to have that. Kind of almost reminds me of a little bit of Sam Calvillo with TJ Dillashaw and doing Ludwig, where they pretty much just run the whole thing for them, and he just shows up and does the work. And of course he orchestrates a lot of the stuff, but he trusts all these people, and that's how I see Justin Buckles. He does a ton of he does a lot. He does pretty much everything, more than I could ever ask for. And then, of course, I have Fabio Prado, who's always been in my corner as well, jiu-jitsu black belt. And it's been great. I've been very lucky to be able to hold my corner and my team regardless of the changes that have gone to happen with the team. So everything's going great.
How do you see this fight playing out on the 17th?
Well, I think I think it's going to be a really tough fight. I'm always looking for the finish at all times. I like to get the job done there in the first round. I feel like I can do. I can. I feel like almost every single fight that I've ever had, if I haven't finished that fight, I've been close to finishing it in the first round. So I really want to capitalize on making sure that when I get to those positions that I get the job done and I don't hold back a little bit. Because there's been times in my amateur career where I get into those positions and I kind of hold back because if the ref doesn't stop it, then I'm fucking tired, But I'm super confident in my conditioning right now. I feel like I feel like I can do a championship title fight right now, honestly, like a 5-round fight. I feel great. I feel like I'm pushing hard from the first round to the fifth round or whatever we're training. So I think I'm gonna get the job done. I'm gonna get the finish. If it doesn't happen in the first, it's probably gonna happen in the second.
And I'm glad you brought up the title because I think if you get another finish here, you're probably pretty close to getting a shot. You certainly were on that trajectory before the Carla Esparza fight. Where do you feel like a win, especially a finish over Cortney, puts you in the division?
I think for sure, hopefully after beating Cortney Casey, that'll move me up to fight towards the top 10 ranked fighter. 'Cause she's number 10, so help me get up higher. I know there's other people in there waiting for the opportunity. So you have Jessica Andrade, who's going to fight, Rose Namajunas. We have Tatiana Suarez in there, and you got to throw in, Arsenov after she beat Claudia. So I know that there's some matches that are to be made there before I get there, but you never know. I stay training all year round. If a fight falls out, chances are that I'll step up and be like, hey, I'm right here, So I definitely do believe that, I seen how fast I could move. And I think that if I just keep winning in impressive ways and, want people to have eyes on me, then I can definitely get that title shot.
And last question before I let you go. A former Team Alpha Male member, TJ Dillashaw, just fought Henry Cejudo a few weeks back. What was your reaction to him getting finished as quickly as he did? And do you think the weight cut played a role in that?
Um, He said, I just recently listened to a podcast that he did. I felt like the weight cut definitely had something to do with it. I mean, that's what I thought at least. But he said he went into the fight, came back, that other fight was 149 pounds. So at first I was like, okay, we see TJ Dillashaw, he doesn't look very good. He looks small. And then you see Henry Cejudo's been cutting at 25 for a very long time. And he looks solid. TJ Dillashaw hadn't cut to 125 since 2009. I was like, freaking 10 years, So it's like his body was never used to it. I do think that he did an amazing job doing, focusing on that, but that was a problem. I think maybe there was more focus on the weight cut itself versus the work that was being input with his coaches because they wanted to, make sure that was on point and his conditioning. Was it an early stoppage? I do think it was slight litters. Would it early stoppage? Do I think it would have changed the outcome if it would have got an extra 30 seconds? I don't know. You had a grown man, Henry Cejudo, his head was right, caught him a couple times, dropped him, and I think he would have came in and still finished the job. So it really sucks. I actually thought TJ was going to get the job done, but we kind of got taken underneath him, and I could feel his frustration because he felt amazing. He did everything he could to be in shape and ready and prepare for that fight. Like in his head, he already had the fight won. I mean, he showed up to a fursuit to the fights, to the arena. I think he had he had the glasses on. He's like, oh, I'm already the king, and not saying that he wasn't the because he was already the champ, but the bantamweight champ, but he you can't take anyone lightly. It doesn't matter how good you feel. It doesn't mean how good you feel. One punch can change everything, and that's what it showed. So hopefully he'll come back up from it. I think what's going to end up happening now, it sucks, but that was your opportunity to be a double champion. That's to go. So now you got to give Henry Cejudo the chance to come at 35 and challenge for the bout. So that will be the, and then that way he can get it back, hopefully.
And we're looking forward to your fight. It's coming up here February 17th. It is UFC on ESPN. Cynthia, always good catching up with you. I really appreciate the time. Just remind people where they can find you on social media. And if you got any thank yous or shout outs, the floor is yours.
Yes, first of all, I want to thank you, James. Thank you so much. I always love doing the interviews with you. So it's great to be able to almost even go back to the interviews that we did at the beginning because
LFA, that was the first one, I think. It was like right after LFA, I think, when you got signed.
Yeah,
that was
right
the first interview
after
you did,
LFA.
yeah.
So that's awesome. So I really appreciate it, especially getting us out there. We couldn't do it without you guys. So, and also, all my sponsors, Freshly Prep, Vive Health Bar, Total Nutrition, all of my teammates, Team Alpha Male, my partners and my coaches. I really appreciate, everything they've done, that they continue to support me, and as well as the fans. So I hope you guys tune in on Sunday, February 17th. It's going to be a great fight. ESPN, we're going to be making history. So don't miss out.